What is up? It is the Fifth Gear Hunter, and today's a little bit of a different video. So I am going to purchase an action camera, or I was in the process, or I am purchasing an action camera, and I haven't decided which one I should get. Deciding between two primary ones, the GoPro 12 and the Osmo, the DJI OSMO Action 4. And so I thought, how perfect but to make a video testing it out, because I am somebody. Check this out real quick. Look at that sunset and that dog running around like a crazy person. What? I am somebody that really gets frustrated with having to learn new tech, or if it's not easy, or if it's just frustrating to be able to incorporate a new digital device in my life for some reason. And so I thought I would take it through the testing process and I would decide which is the best all around, in my opinion, from the DJI Osmo Action 4 and the GoPro 12. So I'm going to grade it along the way. So what's in the box, like what comes with it out of the box, how easy it is to set up either and begin using them, how easy it is to actually use them and functionally get them to put to use. How easy is it to download the videos and to make sense of them and to tie them into video content? And again, I'm not looking to do like mountain biking or underwater diving. I'm just looking to do basic stuff. Look at that sunset again. And then the most important thing is, what's the sound quality? You know, what's the quality of the sound, the quality of the video, and which one sort of summarizes all of those components in the best way possible? You know, in general, sort of like the design, the use, the downloading ease, and the quality of the actual content itself. So we're gonna dive in and test all these different things and share about them as we go. All right, so what's included in the GoPro 12? You have, you know, like their own little casing thing that opens up, and it has all the pieces that hold in there. A little bit longer box than we're gonna look at for the Osmo. And then you have the camera. You have a mount, which has a double-sided sticky tape. You have this thing that snaps in place. You got the screw. The screw actually came unattached to this. And charging cord, it is USB-C charging, but it goes to a traditional old school USB. And then you have the battery pack. So real simple setup. You know, the attachment for all like the accessory pieces is gonna attach right to the bottom. So it's built in to the device is the attachment on the bottom. So that's what you get, really kind of clean and simple. So in simple terms, you could attach this to something, maybe a helmet. It's got curvature to it. You could snap it there. You could lock it here. So this is your primary option for where you would mount it. It doesn't come with any kind of other types of attachments just out of the gate. All right, so here you have the DJI Osmo Action 4. It comes with a little real compact, you know, box. Everything is wrapped in these little plastic things. So instead of having like the casing that kind of holds everything, this has got like a little baggie for everything you might get in here. So obviously it comes with a sticker, which I didn't see in the GoPro pack, but whatever, that doesn't matter. Accessory box, so a box to hold all the accessories that it comes with. It comes with a couple of other features that I think are unique to the Osmo, or at least I think are unique. Number one, the charging cable is USB-C to USB-C. So I don't know, potentially faster charging because it's not USB to USB-C. And then it has that same sort of attachment piece, sort of curvature where you can, you know, lock it on, and the screw that comes with it. It has sort of what they call a camera hood, I believe, that sits over top. And I'm not putting it on there because I don't know which one I'm going to go with. It's got some bumper protection things, not sure, but other features. And then the other thing that's really unique about it, so it has a couple of other accessories, meaning like this little lens protector-ish thing and this thing, but otherwise it's the same. But one thing that's a major design difference, and then the charging cords, USB-C to USB-C, is that this is magnetic and it snaps in place. And that is actually super cool, because since this is screw mounted, if you're using it on like a lens extender or like a tripod or something, you don't have to like unscrew the screw every time to get the camera off. You just, I mean, it's got some serious magnetism and it snaps in place. The other thing I forgot to mention is it has this exterior case, and the exterior case, I mean, this thing is so cool, has its own magnetic clip, so you could do it portrait if you wanted to. Plus, it's a protective case that comes with it, standard. So that's a big positive. So you can attach this here, you can attach it there. It comes off. You can keep this screw mounted on your boomstick as well as your tripod. It has a protective case. The only downside, so it's better in the Osmo Action 4. The only downside though is that this does have a screw mount. So if you wanted to use a traditional, just circle it in there and screw it in, this doesn't. So you have to use some sort of boomstick special holder that goes with this type of thing, because I don't see, and it might be ignorant, but that, yeah, there's no place to get the same sort of just, I'm just going to screw this into a traditional old school camera holder. So in my opinion, I like the flexibility of the Osmo Action 4. I think that's really cool. And the fact that it has an external case, I think that is a really, really nice addition over the GoPro 12, which just has super basic package and is $50 more. So how do they feel as far as the setup? So both of them set up really easy. One thing that is not clearly displayed on action cameras when you go to purchase them is that it may or may not be able to screw mount on the bottom to a traditional set of camera equipment, the little screws. So the GoPro could, the Osmo couldn't. So as far as just like ease of setup, that was a negative for the Osmo, because a lot of us, or people that might want to use an action camera, might have a tripod or a little camera thing around that you could screw in. You just want to screw it right in and get going, instead of having to buy a special boomstick that could attach to that little two-prong system that hangs down. As far as the setup electronically and downloading the app, both of them worked fine. Downloading the app, both of them worked fine. Connecting to the, the phone. So both of them worked great connecting to the phone, so there was no issues there. So they both had the same sort of simplicity. The only thing that was concerning and different about the DJI Osmo was that my welcome email from DJI was in all Japanese, I think, or Chinese, but I think Japanese. None of it could be read, not a single English word on there. And I, on the flip side, when I set up the GoPro 12, I got here, click here and just show us that this is your email. Like respond, hit this button, and just your email will be activated. And that to me felt, like maybe that's what I got from DJI. I don't know. But the fact that I couldn't read any of it, the fact that it sent it and I've never touched a button saying, please send me all Japanese or Chinese characters, why would that happen? So that was concerning as far as a setup item. The function of the electronics set up fine. The function of the app set up fine. Lots of good things. I would say I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of the details of like, well, you can do editing on this one, or you can do this on that one. I'm not looking at those things. I'm just saying like it all set up fine. But that was kind of a problem that DJI sent me a foreign language initial email, and I haven't got anything said. So that summarizes the setup. We're going to get into using them now. All right, so thinking about the use case for either of them, like how did it feel to use them? What was the ease of actually putting them to work? They're both really great. They both switch easily from portrait to landscape mode. They both have settings built in, and you can easily sort of functionally get around the screen. You can adjust the quality. I'm not going to take time to figure out like how in-depth the quality adjustments could be made. I'm not going to take time to figure out the nuances of the settings differences, because really we're going old school, like point and click type solution. So my whole goal is to say like, which one of them is easier just to take out of the box and start using and have a good experience with and collect some videos with. So in simple terms, as far as the settings off of the screen, they're both great. They both worked well. Obviously, I ran into an issue because the Osmo doesn't have the built-in bottom clip, and you could forget an attachment. The GoPro has it built in. So that was a use case difference. And I'd say like using the Osmo by itself without that exterior wrap around it, it felt like it's way more delicate. It just felt like it could break more easily if you dropped it. and the GoPro felt more dense, more solid, sort of like a thicker rubberized feeling. And then on the flip side, with the Osmo in the case, that felt a little bit more solid and sturdy, and I don't know, you know, less at risk, because it was technically less at risk. Got a, you know, thick, strong plastic wrapper around it with that thing on there. And so in simple terms though, if I was gonna ease of use, they're both the same. They both were great. They both, you push the button, it works. They both drained about the same battery for the most part. If I was gonna feel safer with one in general, banging it around, you would absolutely have to keep the Osmo in the case. So for me, I would probably like the simplicity of the GoPro 12, just because I don't have to take it in and out of a case. I just want to like bounce it around and throw it places, and that would feel more secure. The GoPro felt more secure. But that's the summary for the use case. Like, how did it feel in actual use for the two, between the two? Okay, so now we're gonna get into the sound and video quality. And obviously, that might be the most important thing that you go to test something for. For me, I am looking for a collection of other things too, like, cost and access. But now we're gonna look at the sound and video quality. I'm gonna test it in a few different ways. I'm gonna test everything compared to the iPhone 14. We're gonna look at a couple of weird lighting conditions that just happened because I started shooting and testing all these things at dusk. I'm gonna test both of them in simple ways, in looking at the sound and video quality walking through the woods with a lot of crispy, crackly leaves, as well as the sound and video quality in the open plain. So not as much background sound. So what do they pick up? And all of them compared to the iPhone 14. So we're gonna look again at the sound in the woods of each of them with the iPhone 14 compared in there, the sound in the open plain with each of them, and then at the end, we'll do the iPhone 14 in the woods, in the dark, in the post-dusk, to see how it compares on the lighting and video quality, what the iPhone compared to those two things. So let's dive into that. This is on the iPhone 14, and we're gonna compare it to the other two. So this is the iPhone 14. You tell me how it sounds. We'll just go from there. And this is the GoPro, again, GoPro 12. This is how the GoPro 12 sounds. And this is the DJI OSMO Action 4, and how the DJI OSMO Action 4 sounds at a distance. And now we're gonna hear the sound of the iPhone 14 walking through the forest. Got Naya walking, she's picking up leaves. So this is the iPhone 14 and how it's. All right, and this is the GoPro. Kept the distance. Now we got the rustling sounds. What are we picking up? And what's, coming through on the sound. So this is the DJI OSMO Action 4. I have more rustling sounds going on. So we're just sort of testing out the sound quality when there's a lot more leaves being crunched. So this is the sound quality of the iPhone 14 when out in an open plain. So this is how it sounds. This is the video with sort of quasi light behind me. All right, so now I have the DJI OSMO Action 4 in more of an open space sound. Obviously light sort of ish in the background. See how it sort of handles that. Okay, so this is the sound of the GoPro 12 in the open space. So this is the sound. And, obviously, like I just said, the Osmo test I just did was, a little bit lighter conditions, not that much, but yes, definitely we're at dusk and it is getting dark. All right, so this is what you experience on the iPhone 14 when you're walking through a rustly forest. This is the testing of the in the woods sound of the DJI OSMO Action 4. All right, so this is the GoPro 12, how it sounds on a boomstick, about the same distance an arm was with the Osmo. All right, and because we tested the dark conditions for the Osmo and the GoPro, this is how the iPhone 14 looks in the dark conditions and in the woods, obviously, double. But in the darker conditions, this is how the iPhone 14 handles the absence of light relative to those two. And then again, to be fair, here's how the iPhone 14 handles video when it's darker. So now I just got done shooting the sound and video quality of the Osmo Action 4 and the GoPro 12 in the dusk lightings. So This is after that, so it is now darker than it was on either of the previous two videos if you're gonna compare like outdoor lighting conditions. That's not what I'm really gonna use it for, so it's not gonna be a primary deciding factor, but it is sort of interesting to see like, okay, this is how the iPhone 14 holds up after it's gotten a little bit dark and past dusk. Okay, so we've shot it, we've used it, now we need to download content. Now we need to go through the app and get it from the device to the Apple Photos so that I could edit it, I can use it, I can see it on my Apple products, all that sort of stuff. So from the device to a functional use, functional experience, functional enjoyment location. So let's take a look. All right, so we're gonna try to time this, and it connected to the camera pretty easily. So starting the clock and downloading. We'll see if we just push the download button. I've never gone straight from here, but maybe it'll work. 97%, yes, we want to join. 97% battery with, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes of video time that I shot with it. And downloading 1 of 1. Okay, so now I'm just going to hit let's go. Now you can see the 3-minute one, and click that. And I think you just click this up arrow and save to photos. Got it. And there it is. Took a grand total of 1 minute and 10 seconds to get to the actual downloaded footage. And that's pretty impressive for 3 minutes. All right, so we're starting now with the timer. And click into the video and you click that and do full download. The same 3-minute video, and it is okay. So failed to download. So we have to consult the owner's manual or the forums to figure out what's wrong. So after much wrestling and gnashing of teeth and searching forums and trying to figure things out, there is a trick. The tragic thing is that there's been a problem like this ever since iOS 17. I partially do blame Apple, but the problem has been reoccurring since September of last year. So this is February, middle of February, so we're talking 5 months. There's been a reoccurring problem. So here's the fix. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but here it is, and frustrating that I had to work so hard to uncover. Okay, so terrible, but the oddest solution is if you turn off cellular, downloading, and okay, so that was the fix, the dumbest thing ever. Now, if you go into photos, it's already dumping it into the photo. So it goes straight. You don't have to elect a different option to be able to put it from one to the other. It just automatically puts it in your, so that's a huge step. It really takes the step out from what you would have on the GoPro 12, but it obviously is dysfunctional. All right, so what do we think in summary of the two, the DJI Osmo Action 4 versus the GoPro Hero 12? So the DJI Osmo Action 4 is at $300, the GoPro 12 at $350, so $50 more. What did I feel about the out of the box? I definitely feel like there was more accessory options for sure, just flat out more with the Osmo Action 4. I did like on the design feature of the GoPro 12 that you had a screw-in option, but I did not like that there's the permanent sort of flap things, and you can't just sort of leave those on the boom stick or the tripod or whatever, but you have to like literally unscrew it in order to take the camera back off. I really liked the case of I love the magnetic attachment of the Osmo Action 4, and I love the case that you actually had a protective case that just came with it out of the box. That was actually great. But the device itself, the Osmo Action 4, felt way more delicate, and so I like the raw durability of the actual action camera itself of the GoPro 12. Obviously, we come down just to audio and video quality. The Osmo was just better. The Osmo, I couldn't tell. I'm not like an expert on video quality. They felt fine, but obviously the Osmo was better in darker lighting conditions. Crushed it. And then sound quality, I felt like it was crisper, just flat out crisper sound quality on the Osmo Action 4. except the only downside was when you have a lot of background noise, like a lot of that rustling, you pick up all the rustling. So that was the negative of the crisp sound, is that none of that gets muted. But I would still say audio and video victory goes to the Osmo Action 4. So, and then the other thing that's really important to note is that none of them compare to the iPhone 14. Like none of them compare to the sound and video quality, the light control, dark situations, light situations. If you were wondering like, oh, I've got to get a Osmo Action 4, I've got to get an action camera to do some quality video work. Technically you don't, because you get better audio and video quality out of an iPhone 14 or better, probably a 13, maybe even a 12. But they didn't beat, neither one of them beat the iPhone. And so in summary, the DJI Osmo Action 4 is better all around, in my opinion, at $50 less. So $300. So it's better all around audio, video. I like the accessories because it comes with a case. It makes up for the more frail feeling to it and makes the durability. The only other caveat to that is that you have to have the risk factor of the foreign developed device, which might not have as good a support, might have issues or glitches. Obviously, it's got a definitive glitch with downloading, a basic function you might need, as well as I got a foreign email in my initial welcome. So the GoPro 12 is gonna have like universal communication, is super well established as a company. You could find a bunch of used ones. You can sell your used one if you want to upgrade in the future. So there's that downside. But just looking at the spec sheet and the actual experience, the Osmo wins the cake, despite some of the caveats or despite some of the issues. It's the figure hunter. Thanks so much for watching.